it is.
Hey, this is Witty, and this is 2 versus 2 on Turtle Rock replay commentary. So I've always got to get that replay in there just in case you think, oh, I'm playing. I ain't. No, I'm commentating this one. And at the top we can see LV Poison is playing the Orc. A little bit of the Altar, a little bit of the Burrow right at the bottom there. He's being a bit brave. And then next to him, his ally is called Zion. I'm going to go with Zion just because I can. Altar, Moonwell, yeah, natural shizzle really. At the bottom, Yumiko0414, and he is the human player. All standard so far, apart from his ally, R-Star's foe. And yeah, he's not got as much, so I'm not sure if he's feeding. And doesn't look like it. Looks very standard so far from Yumiko. So what's he waiting for? Maybe rifles. We'll keep an eye on that. Now we've got a Voodoo Lounge a little bit further down. Poison's not worried about his base being pressured at all. He's been putting it all down on the line. Got some wisps going out for the scout at the moment from Zian. And his Ancient of War is almost up and ready to start wailing on the turtles. We've got Demon Hunter coming out for Zian. He's going to build an archer, get one archer out. Got Blade Master for Poison. And R-Star's foe has now started, but he's gone for barracks. So, well, for whatever reason, he's done what he's done. I don't know why, but he's done what he's done. Unless it's a tower rush, something like that. No, he's going for fast expand. He's very brave. That's why. Because they're both going to be doing it. I was going to say that. You've got to have some balls to do that at this early point in the game. But of course he's got an ally. This is a 2 versus 2. The wisp detonating basically makes it a lot harder for the water elemental to be useful since it's dead now. And you've got to move that, that militia back at the last moment. You've got to be real careful with the giant gargantuan sea turtle because he will automatically attack the lowest HP unit. So that's why he's not bringing this militia back in. And they're going to clear this up. Tome of Intelligence, Potion of Invulnerability, very nice. No other harass other than one archer, which is about to be picked off by a few militia, and a Stormbolt from the Mountain King. Here comes the Blade Master. His time to shine, that's for sure. He's got to wait. He's going to see. Oh no, I get it. Yeah, he's denying an expansion from being put down at this point, even though they're militia. But you could do that with just Windwalk alone, but obviously it doesn't last forever. But by standing in this spot, you can't build on top of an invisible unit. So he could just go invisible for like the next 30-ish seconds and deny an expansion from being put down. But at least they can put down some towers and defense. Meanwhile, Yumiko's got his base, I believe, quite blocked off, or blocked off enough. He needs to get an arcane tower up, but first this is his top priority, so his wood is going to be going to this point at this area. The Archmage, oh, Mountain King is ready to put down the Storm Bolts, but there's still more Windwalks to be had. This is really nice from Poison. I don't think he's choosing. No, he's going back. He's definitely going to stay around, and I think he should do, because this is technically supposed to be a fast expand, but ain't much being expanded at this point. Oh, there we go. You can only deny it for so long. Looks like R-Star's managed to find a place to put it down. So that's going along. Got the Ancient of War creeping on this side. Archers are going to finish off the turtle so that the experience can go to the Demon Hunter over here, who's looking to possibly pick up a boost of speed any second now. Wait for it. No, Staff for Teleportation. Is there going to be a boost of speed as well? No, just Staff for Teleportation is his highest priority at this point. Blade Master creeping the right hand side. Demon Hunter rather. Doing a very nice touch. This has been done to me, but with a panda. It's very annoying. The Night Elf player slips a wisp into your base and then TPs into your base because it's blocked off with the hero later on. But he's going to struggle a little bit against this mini militia. He's essentially got to buy enough time until that item is off cooldown. And as you can see, there's quite a while to go, so he's probably going to have to TP out of that or just die. He's going back. Yeah, he's choosing to TP out. Didn't really serve much of a purpose, to be honest. In fact, it probably cost him more than he managed to get out of that, so it's an interesting move. I think it's probably better if you got a panda or something like that, or at least if the Demon Hunter is a little higher level. Now, there's some good defense going on here. Is that Grunt still going to have his speed? No, he doesn't have the speed after he comes out, so the Mountain King is going to try and block off the Grunt's path, and the Grunt knows this, so he's going a different path. Meanwhile, up here, there's a little peasant scout, but there's nothing going to be Staff for teleporting to that peasant now. It's dead. Blade Master at the top here looking to creep the orange spot at the top. R-Stars and Yumiko looking to finish off this little spot here. I'm not sure if this guy drops the item. Perhaps he does. We'll find out in a moment. Players are teching apart from Yumiko, who's gone for double racks and is probably going to be fed by R-Stars a little bit so they can actually get a decent army up. Yep, the item did go. That's why the Blade Master crept it earlier. So he's picked himself up a couple of items. We've got Xian, who looks like he's already teched at this point. Tree of Ages. Tree of Life going down here. So obviously they're ambitious in the fact that they definitely want to get an expansion in turn. Because it's like, hey, you guys have got an expansion? We're going to get an expansion too. We're going to do it better than you. Because they were denied for quite a while, these guys down there. So they haven't had the expansion for that long. Rune of the Watcher now going down. That means Yumiko and R-Stars have vision of this area on this side of the shop, which is good for them. Handy for them. Oh, is that Ancient of War going to hang in there? He is indeed, because as soon as that Gargantuan Sea Turtle goes down, who drops a Greater Potion of Mana, which goes to the Panda, which is pretty good if the Panda can get level 3. Level 2 Breath with the Fire at least would be nice. Spam those out. The Ancient of War is going to survive just about. This looks pretty safe now for the time being, this expansion. Poison, just sort of looking around. Didn't actually manage to spot the creep, and if he did, he may have deliberately chosen to not harass because he knows that a permanent Watcher Ward will drop for the enemy team. So that Blade Master will be visible and he could easily get Storm Bolted. He's going to go up here. He's going to try and get a secure kill on the Ogre Lord. Maybe a bit of Hex or something like that. A bit of Surround if it's possible. It's quite tricky to pull off. It looks like it's not going to go in their favour. So they're going to take out the Ogre Magi. Hopefully bring back the Ogre Lord and then go for the Ogre Lord. Meanwhile, there's not an expansion going down, but this Gargantuan Sea Turtle is being crept out. Is that a surround on the Ogre Lord? I believe that is indeed a surround on the Ogre Lord. What's he going to drop, though? Anything good? Tome of Experience, that's always nice to see. And a Medallion of Courage, Strength and Intelligence, +4. Good for the Panda. Not for much else. So I'd like to see that on the Panda, really. Otherwise, I'm not too big a fan of those items. R-Star's Foe and Yumiko also taking this shop as well by the looks of it. So by doing so, they're going to have good vision of the map, at least the midpoint of the map, which is kind of the most crucial point. Not the absolute middle. The tavern is still out of bounds, and we can see Xian's been spotted. Xian, his expansion, Dryads are out. They're going to be kind of handy here. R-Star's starting to put down a bit more pressure though with the rest of his army catching up to this expansion. Looks like Xian's going to be able to take out a footman quite easily, but there are also more human armies gathering up by this expansion, and it doesn't look too good for this expansion. There's nothing going on right now because at the moment I believe Poison is at the R-Star's expansion doing damage there, so it looks like Xian's going to lose his expansion. Both of R-Stars and Yumiko are going to TP back to defend and force Poison to run back. And Poison did manage to kill essentially a little bit of the economy there by reducing all of the peasants that would have otherwise been mining here, but he didn't obviously get to kill the town hall because it's a bit harder, and I guess they thought that was worth it. No, I'm not sure if that was. I think he should have responded because they could have defended against the human army. The human army was not that much stronger than yours. A little reference to Tillerman there. Some might get that. Oh, we've got a scroll of healing going down here for the Mountain King. That's nice. And a huge potion of invulnerability for the Archmage, so he's going to be safe as long as he remembers to use it. Got Gauntlets of Strength from the Demon Hunter. Instead of not... Well, the Medallion of Courage got passed over to the Panda, but so far the Gauntlets of Strength has not been passed over. The Shadow Hunter is basically... Ooh, Stormbolt, Stormbolt, Stormbolt sneaking in there. I guess that's why he's got the Gauntlets of Strength, is just to give him a little bit more stamina to help reduce the chances of him getting killed too quickly on in the early battles. Now these Dryads are starting to put a little bit of pressure on, but the humans are defending by their expansion point. They've got the shop there. It's a great place to defend if you're going to have a fight anywhere. So these guys, Poison and Xian, are moving back. I'm sure I'm going to say Xian in every single possible way that could be done. Blade Master picking up a Scroll of Healing. Scroll of Healing seems to be the key for 2 versus 2 since everyone wants a piece of it, and they're going to pull back the Ogre Lord. Meanwhile, whilst they're doing that, let's have a little look at the tech. We've got more Dryads coming out. Pretty much just Dryads for Xian. Orc. Got Spread of Burrows. War Mill at the back. Going for the Spirit Walker's Adept Training. I'm not sure if he's going to be moving towards... No, probably not Tauren. but he wants disenchant at least to deal with the water elementals and such that, well, the slow that will get put down by the sorceresses. So the double human versus orc and night elf. So the humans are obviously going to end up getting casters at some point, since that's pretty much their main strength. And as you can see, R-Stars likes his casters because he's got triple Arcane Sanctum, so he wants nothing but casters. Yumiko going for a workshop at this point, and no tech to tier 3 at this just yet. They're going to start going for the more gargantuan sea turtles. It's been scouted by the wisp, so they know what's going down, but the wisp did get denied a little bit by the Stormbolt, but it saw what it needed to see. Up at the top here we've got Poison just kind of sitting around, waiting for things to gather up. A couple of Spirit Walkers, 4 Grunts, 2 Raiders. You know, typical orc composition, to be quite frank with you. Night Elf just sporting a hell of a lot of Dryads and the old Archer, along with the Demon Hunter and Panda, which are always a good, potent combination. The expansion is about to complete for Cyan, so finally he'll be able to start making some resources. But by this point, R-Star's definitely got a lot of gold from that, so he's got quite a huge chunk. Whereas Cyan is about 4,000 gold down in terms of the amount of gold compared to R-Stars. So R-Stars getting his Archmage in a little bit of a pickle there, but it is pretty much saved. It's got Blizzard, so I believe he must have retrained to Blizzard, because I'm pretty sure I saw Water Elementals out, and since he's the only Archmage, it means that he took the time of retraining, got himself Blizzard, which is pretty good at this point, apart from when it gets ensnared or Stormbolted or interrupted in any other way. Not that he's going to get Stormbolted, because no one has Stormbolt on Cyan's or Poison's team. They're moving in here. The Blade Master's getting healed up just when he looked like he was going to be in a little bit of a risky situation, focusing quite heavily on the Mountain King. Dryad's trying to get back a little bit. Demon Hunter is having a lot of his mana taken away from him, which is pretty handy because you don't want him getting away with too many mana burns. Now Blizzard would be really nice in this situation. The Panda's getting a good old Drunken Haze and Breath of Fire off there, and that nice cluster of units from the humans. But unfortunately there's no more AoE to follow through, apart from just now. Beautiful. He did manage to get another bout in there. And he's got the Greater Potion of Mana, don't forget that. So that huge clump of units are going to get pretty heavily punished here. Dryads are doing fine at the back here, obviously not much threat for them. The Orc army is just withstanding so much punishment at this point. Despite all those rifles, there's not that much DPS coming out from R-Stars and Yumiko, but they're still putting out the Blizzard quite consistently along with the rifles, and Source can do quite good damage against Grunts. But it looks like R-Stars is being pretty heavily forced back because Blade Master is heavily focused on that Archmage, so much so that the Archmage goes down. Or Blood Mage getting kind of blocked a little bit by his own units and also blocking off Poison, so that kind of worked out for them. At least, is he going to still escape? The Blade Master doesn't have the option to use one more Windwalk, otherwise he almost definitely would, just to pick off another hero. Looks like Cyan still got pretty much all of his army at this point, and R-Star's expansion is looking rather vulnerable. Orc shop going up. It's going to be a while before that can go up, but I'm sure they're going to want to buy loads of healing salves, because I think all of the Scroll of Healings have been used at this point, which is pretty much explains why I was wondering how Scroll of Healings is such a popular item in or why it's such a popular item in 2 vs 2, and you can clearly see why. It's well worth its weight in gold, I'd say. Now the fight is still raging. These guys will not want to let go of this expansion easily, but is this a fight that they want to stick around and try to have, despite obviously wanting to try and keep that expansion? Is this going to be worth it? The mortars are in now, and they are pretty much the key to helping versus pretty much the majority of Cyan's army. Hell of a lot of Dryads. They get sliced, torn apart by mortars, and there's a good chunk of them. 5 mortars. And a nice enough position here, nice little choke point for R-Star's foe and Yumiko to kind of keep those mortars safe. It's very hard to get to those mortars at the back there. So Poison and Cyan have actually been forced back, despite it looking like they pretty much had this in the bag. But obviously R-Stars and Yumiko were not out of it. They just simply needed those mortars just a little bit earlier, and they could have possibly come through and won the game from that point, because the defense wasn't enough. They just didn't have that DPS that they needed, and the mortars give that DPS. So good idea to get the mortars. Obviously needed a little bit earlier, but hindsight and possibility, obviously they might not have been able to get the mortars. Got a Spirit Walker here. Down he goes. Picked off by a few priests and a Sork. So, Panda level 4, Demon Hunter level 4. We got level 4, Blade Master, level 3, Shadow Hunter. Typical Orc composition, still Raiders, Grunts, couple of Kodos, Spirit Walkers. Still the majority of Dryads. Now Bears starting to come in. Adept Bears, I assume that the upgrade for Master Bears is coming through, which means they're going to actually have some, you know, pretty reasonably decent DPS when it comes to melee, because the Orc army is more supportive than it is about doing damage. So yeah, they're going to need those bears, especially to help versus the Spellbreakers. Spellbreakers are kind of a funny unit like that. They're good against bears, but at the same time they're bad against bears. It's one of those strange combinations, because they can drain mana with their attacks, which does extra damage to bears, providing that they still have mana, which they probably will do. But at the same time, they've got medium armor, so they take extra damage from the normal hits from the bears. Oh, lots of towers going down here. I quite like this, actually. It's going to just make it that little bit more awkward for the enemy team to pretty much put a lot of harass down. But they're splitting up here, and they're going to possibly go for mains, one each, see what they can get away with, or flank from underneath. But obviously it leaves them in a tricky position, at least one of them. Oh, it's actually going for a bit of creeping instead. Who's going to get the turtle? Haha, R-Star says, that's my turtle. I want the turtle. And Poison slunks his head and slinks off. Haha. Yes, he does. But he's coming back for more. He's not sure. Oh, yep. Oh, the Archmage is just keeping a little peek out there. What if there was a Raider to get an ensnare on that Archmage? That could have been quite ugly situation for R-Stars there. Sion, meanwhile, at the top here, is trying to put some pressure here, but this is a horrible situation for him to be in. You've got to attack this more or less well choked off point versus mortars that are so far away with a couple of buildings in front and an army, when most of your army is going to get sliced apart by mortars. It's not a great spot for Zion, but he has got his expansion, you know, not being pressured at this point. So as long as he's, you know, being aggressive without taking too much damage, he's keeping that expansion safe. Meanwhile, Poison is having this little stare off with R-Stars. Not really much going down between those two. Neither really wanting to commit to a fight, but I imagine that Poison looks like he'd do quite well, because that's a hell of a lot of Spellbreakers. They're good units, but I'm not sure they'd be so good against well-microed Orcs. You know, oh, never mind. Let's have a look here. Oh, there's a secured Archmage kill, unless there is a Staff of Preservation. Not Preservation, Staff of Sanctuary, but there isn't. For the Blood Mage, he cannot get rid of the Archmage. Oh, now the Blood Mage is going down as well. That went terrible. Looks like R-Stars stared out Poison for a little bit too long and didn't know when to back off. So both of these heroes have been lost for basically nothing. No teleport or any way to get out of it because of the ensnare, the high damage, the Hex pretty much denying any sort of response from the Archmage. The Mountain King is pissed at this point. He's getting straight in there, thunderclapping, slowing down those Orc units on top of the slow that's already going down. And they're now backed off into this little corner versus two armies. But Sion's coming in from behind, flanking away. He's got the bear with a shite load of mana, ready to throw down Drunken Haze and Breath of Fire whenever it's pretty much off cooldown or whenever the possibility is available. But he wants to do it soon because he's going to lose all of his mana because of the Spellbreakers, putting down a lot of focus. Sion decided to send his Panda back. He's like, right, you threw down your last Breath of Fire and Drunken Haze. Let's get you back, get you all moon welled up, and then get some mana back, and so he can throw down another one. I very much like that touch because he's got the Staff of Teleportation. Excellent play there from Sion. He's still got bears here. So much pressure going on against R-Stars and Foe. They're just gradually being pushed back bit by bit. Mortar's still standing at the back, being safe, but I think their army is really fastly dwindling at this point, and they're just putting so much pressure on. These bears are relentless, just not really getting damaged whatsoever. Even the Blade Master isn't in any real trouble. Stormbolt's only one left to go. Very unfortunate rally point here, but not much you can do. Obviously, all of their focus at this point is keeping this army applying the pressure. And the Blade Master, the double hero, you know, Sion, Panda. Is that Panda almost level 5 yet? When he gets level 5, that is really going to be very good, especially against his towers as well. So the towers, obviously, a horrible place to fight, but in this situation, these guys are doing really well. Just got to be a little bit careful with the drives there versus the mortars at the back. But meanwhile, I want to take out those towers if I was you. Now, he's decided to TP out because this isn't a good position for him, and it's not a good fight. So they're going to back off here before they lose too much, because they pretty much won that fight. And the longer they stay, the more likely they are to lose. They went as far as they could do, and R-Stars and Yumiko sort of knew that they were in a great position. So I like the idea here from Poison here. Instead of just straight up TPing or getting out, he's like, you know, I'm going to do as much damage as I can and be as annoying as I can and then use my TP. I'm not going to TP straight away just to please you. I want to just be a little bit extra annoying and then get back. Looks like another gargantuan sea turtle is about to fall in this map, and that's probably the last creep camp by the looks of it. We got an expansion going up on the top there, and whilst all of that was going down, I didn't even have a chance. I forgot about the expansion on the bottom left-hand side. It looks like Science had that for a while. I can't quite see the gold. Ah, no, not that long. 10,000 gold in these expansion gold mines. So there's quite a bit less gold in these further away points. So he's only had about 600 gold from that, but the expansion has paid for itself. Arstar's foe has built up a rather large army for himself, and Yumiko's got himself a decent amount of mortars, which is pretty much the key at this point, because they're still useful against bears, providing they can block the bears off a fair bit. You know, they don't do like extra damage, but they're not exactly bad against bears as long as the mortars aren't being touched. And there's a lot of bears. Not so many dryads anymore. A lot of bears. And it looks like Poison's pretty much boosting up the amount of raiders he has and spirit walkers. Are those two the same grunts? I don't imagine he's built any more grunts since, but he could have done. He's certainly not gone for a Tauren chieftain, Taurens or anything like that. And the gold mine has gone down, and Poison's going to want to try to keep this expansion up here. It looks pretty tricky for Yumiko and Arstars. Obviously, they're trying to move these towers out, not only to gain control and help defend this expansion, but they want to move to the next expansion point, because they have to. Because the enemy players, as far as they're concerned, are getting quite comfy in this map controlled situation, because I'd say they've got this. Level 5 Panda, level 5 Demon Hunter. Look at the potions of mana on that Panda. It's all about the Drunken Haze and Breath of Fire. We've got level 4 Blade Master, who's almost level 5, and an almost level 5 Shadow Hunter. So these guys are doing really good for heroes. A couple of tanks out here. That's an interesting touch. I'm not sure if that's necessarily the right move. I guess it's the right move if they can get into a fight and then send the tanks off just to put consistent pressure on expansions. Meanwhile, Scion is putting a lot of pressure on Yumiko, who's got a level 5 Mountain King, but he's only got level 3 Paladin and level 1 Blood Mage, and this expansion is going to go down very quickly due to the bear surround there. I think he got the cancel on that just in time. Pan is a little bit hurt, but looks like Science deciding to back off here. Blizzard's actually being very productive against the bears, because now they're quite massed. They're obviously all going to be stuck in the same point. Meanwhile, at the top here, we've got Poison versus Arstar's foe. It looks like a pretty difficult fight for Poison, but someone's TPing in here. It's going to be the Paladin from Yumiko. He's going to heal up the Spellbreaker before it goes down. It's going to be Blizzard from the Archmage. I don't think this is a great fight for Poison, and oh my god, now it is a good fight for Poison, because Coulson decides to TP right into the thick of the action with lots of bears. Panda's going to want to get in there. Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire, throw that down on the priest, make their life that little bit trickier. But the healer, scroll healing has been used by Arstars, I believe, pretty much negating the damage, at least from the first Drunken Haze and Breath of Fire. But there'll be another one in a moment. There it goes. So where's your next scroller healing? There it is. So scroller healing is pretty much just a counter. Lots of blizzards going down. Oh wow, this is really backfiring on Coulson. Maybe they got a little bit over the top there. That was a good idea. I like the touch, but it's backfired a lot on them because they're stuck in a choke point. These great bears, but they're all slowed, and they're just being picked off by the blizzard. And the Spellbreakers are holding their own, whilst the bears, the mortars at the back are putting down a lot of damage. And it looks like Coulson's about to lose his pan. No, it doesn't. It goes down, Staff of Preservation, brings it back, but the Demon Hunter does go down himself. And the bear desperately trying to run back in slow motion. It's like some sort of film here, cinematic. And down he goes. That's over for you. So another scroll of healing being picked up by Arstar's foe. Oh wow, these guys have pretty much taken it. They're about to secure an expansion despite an extra expansion from Coulson at the bottom there. That fight at the end there, that positioning really took it home for Arstar's foe and Yumiko. And I'll be honest, I actually thought Coulson and Poison were going to win that one. They really, really played well, and one might even argue that they deserved to play well, but it wasn't a case of that, because Yumiko, they deserved to play well, they deserved to win. I don't know if it's necessarily a case of that, because Yumiko and Arstars both played their hearts out as well. The only reason why they got into a tricky position is simply because they didn't have the morts out in the mid-game fight. If they had the morts out, they would have been in a much stronger position by this point, but they managed to claw their way back, defending as well as possible, and they obviously took home the win there. Great position at the end. Coulson, nice touch. I guess that was their plan. Put the extra pressure on, but It just wasn't enough, unfortunately. Maybe if there's a little bit more space, a little bit more room for the bears to spread out, it could have been better. But our stars and Yumiko really responded well to the amount of damage that their priests and rifles are going to suffer from the panda by getting lots and lots of scrolls of healing, and those really paid off. So that really answers my question as to why you get scrolls of healing. That's why. That's why right there. That took home the win for them. Wow, very good game. Alright, thank you for watching. This has been Woody. Please subscribe, like and comment. I'll see you later.